Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I've got an exciting video for you today, or at least I think it's exciting. I am doing this video as a response to one of my viewers, Nunya Beeswax, asked me a question the other day if I would talk about some things on the channel, and I thought about it and thought it would be pretty easy to do. So that is what we are going to do today. So stay tuned. Okay, so as you can probably tell from the thumbnail on this video, we are going to talk about diamond painting. And I finally feel like I can actually talk about something that I know a little bit more about than my typical videos on here. And I think that my penchant for buying anything and everything when I start a new hobby is going to really come in handy for this video, because I have bought a ton of different products to help me do diamond painting, and I have very strong feelings about those products, and I'm going to share that stuff with you today. Sorry, that was my device in the background. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, is this enough to do diamond painting? And the answer is yes. You can definitely do diamond painting with just what they provide you in the packages. But if you're going to become a regular diamond painter, you're going to very quickly get tired of these. So we're going to talk about the different products that I feel like I would be at a loss without. Now, none of these products is required to do this kind of art, and it is art, so you can do it however you want. You can put your drills on the lines instead of in the boxes. You can do all kinds of things, right? You can use totally the wrong colors. You can ignore the map on the side, anything, get wild and crazy. But however you decide you want to do it, I want to talk about some of those products. And when I was going through and thinking about, out of all of my supply of products, what do I really would miss if I didn't have it, I wrote down a list of things, and it just happens to be 10 things, so I could say this is my top 10 essential diamond painting supplies that everyone must have, right? But that was just a coincidence. I wasn't trying to, shoot for that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably stop and start this so that I can put like little face cards in between each section. I don't know, I'm trying to get fancy. And a side note, some of you will be very excited to know that this Saturday, so this is Thursday, and I'm hoping to get this published or scheduled to air Friday, tomorrow morning at 8. Some of you will be very excited to hear that Saturday will be the last Temu haul that I recorded earlier. And after that video airs, we won't be seeing this weird time-lapse craziness going on where my sign is there, it disappears, theirs disappears, my hair is short, long, short, long. We won't be seeing any more of that. And I've learned some things since I recorded those that it did. So recording all of those kind of in advance, I did that because I was worried I would run out of content, right? And I was afraid that I wouldn't have time in our busy family's schedule to do regular recordings. So out of that fear, I recorded a bunch of them in a row and then spread them out over time. But I didn't do them day after day because I wanted, the Temu hauls are my biggest draw of all the videos on my channel, so I wanted to spread them out. So then I started adding in supplements on those other days, like Dollar Tree hauls, decluttering hauls, which I will be doing more of those, and just other things. But one thing that doing all those Temu videos helped it helped me get a little bit more organized. It helped me do a little bit of training, so I learned how to use CapCut to piece my videos together. And because of this request that I'm doing today, I got my link tree set up, and so I'll be linking it in the comments below. And so I appreciate those of you that bared with me while we had this kind of out of order videos going on. And I know it really confused some of you, and I'm sorry about that. That was never my intention. And I don't think that I will have that problem going forward. And I have a bunch of Temu bags that are ready to be freshly opened with each of you once I get past Saturday. So, all that being said, the only other housekeeping thing I want to talk about before I get into the crux of this particular video is my Linktree site. So, it doesn't really matter if you're familiar with Linktree or not. There's a link in my description below. And I want to tell you the things that I put in there. Basically, it's a site that just has a link to all of my different things. So if I go, I'm going to pull mine up for myself. Well, actually, so you can see, when you get in there, you'll see it, and these white boxes are all different links. So I've got a link at the top. If you want to contact me for some reason, you click on that, and it's got all of my email, snail mail, whether it's for business or personal, is in there. And then I've got product links. So whenever I do a collaboration with someone, I will be putting it into that one so that you can easily get to both the product wherever it's at, whether it's Amazon or a direct seller's website. And I'll also have a link to the video where I reviewed that item. And then because of this video, I've got one for diamond painting supplies. And I'm very clear in there when you go in there that all of the links that I have in there are affiliated links. I figured out how to get signed up with Amazon as an Amazon associate, which I don't remember what the qualifications for that were. I don't know if I qualified for that once I hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I kind of think that's probably it, because I didn't qualify to be an Amazon influencer. But what that means is that I can get links to products on Amazon that are affiliated links, and if someone clicks on that, I would get a commission. Now, I am not saying that you have to do that at all. You can click on it, get the description of the item, plug that back into the search window, and buy. If you want to buy the item without the affiliated part, go for it. I know some people are kind of against that. When you use one of those links, it doesn't cost you anymore, but it does help me earn some money, which I am funneling back into this channel for additional content. So that's why I'm doing it. It's not because I'm trying to make money off of people, but I'm trying to fund this channel every way I can. And also the Temu links that will be in there are the exact same situation. It is an affiliated link, and if you click on that link and order from that link, I will get some kind of a commission. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because that directly influences how much spending seed money I get as a Temu influencer. It's not enough to just upload videos, because I have that in spades, but you also have to get so much affiliate money, so which means you're influencing people to buy their products. And so the only way they can tell that I'm influencing people is if they use the specific link. Now, I have had people complain that those links just take them to the Temu website. So I tested out several of them, and yes, they did take me to the Temu website, and then I did get this stupid spinner wheel as if I was a brand new Temu person, which I'm not, obviously. But then once the spinner stopped, I just clicked the X on it, and then once I did that, the product that I had linked to is there, and I could click on it, and then I could add it to my cart. So it's different. It's not the same as the share way of sharing links, but I'm specifically doing the influencer links because I'm trying to get more seed money so I can get more Temu influencer dollars or whatever. So that's why I'm doing it. So I figure if I'm going to be taking the time to put links in my descriptions or in this link tree, that I want it to be a link that I get the most bang for my buck out of, and it changes nothing for you. So that's why it's like that, in case you wonder. And then I've also got, I used to always put my other company referrals in my description, so like Bargain Bead Box, Sips By, the Yum Yum Box, because whenever you sign up for those, they give you a referral code to share with friends. So I've got a link for each of those, and I'm very clear in there too. If you happen to sign up, this is what you get, this is what I get, just so that there's no, I don't want anybody to feel cheated, okay, or like I'm taking advantage of anybody. I want to be very transparent with all of you. So all of that stuff is in my link tree, and that link will be in the description. So all of the links for these products on this video, which we are going to finally get to, will be in that link tree. So just click there, go to the Diamond Painting Supplies button, and then you'll see everything. So all that being said, thank you so much for your patience as I've been learning, and hopefully that'll make some better quality content going forward. And I have one other thing I want to talk about, but we're going to get into the subject matter at hand. So I'm going to pause so I know where my break is so I can put in my card. So hang on, I'll be right back. All right, so the first thing we are going to talk about is tweezers. This is a very odd thing to start with because it's kind of a minor piece of diamond painting, but tweezers are a useful feature or function of diamond painting, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's talk about tweezers themselves. A lot of kits come with these plastic tweezers. These are junk. These tips break off very, very easily. So even if you're buying a kit and you're thinking to yourself, wow, it's got all these different things in it, if it's got plastic tweezers, figure you're going to be throwing those away pretty soon. This particular pair hasn't broken off because I don't use it, but I have two other pairs of these where the tips just broke off. And I mean, this is just junk. So what I recommend is this 2-piece set, which you can get on both Amazon and Temu. The price for this little set, and it's the exact same set, same case, everything. Options are the same, I believe. They're metal, painted metal, and they've got an unpainted metal tips. So you've got one that is, I don't know what these are called specifically, but these are pointy, just a pointy tweezer. And I'm sure there's probably some function that you could use this for your eyebrows. I don't know what it is, because I always just use kind of flat ones for my eyes or eyebrows. But anyway, the 2-piece set comes with one like this, and then it comes with one that is bent. And both of them had these plastic tips on them. I just happened to not have it for the other one. So this particular set on Amazon is $5.97, but on Temu is $1.97. So again, it's the exact same product, so Temu is way cheaper unless you need it right away. So, because these from Amazon would come in 2 days. What do I use these for? So here's and we're going to talk about some of these other things, but these, well, okay, let's step back a little bit. Whenever you're doing diamond painting, there's 2 types of drills. There's round drills and there's square drills. Most of Temu's, if you happen to be buying your diamond art from Temu, which is a perfect place to start if you are brand new and have never done it, please buy from someplace like Temu, because places like Michael's and Joann's, they are super expensive, way overpriced. I would say in terms of price, Shein is the cheapest, but they have the smallest selection. Temu comes in second. They are the next cheapest, and they have a much broader selection, but a majority of theirs are circles. And if you are brand new to diamond painting, I would pick circles. It's much more forgiving because the square drills have to be specifically in there. There's no wiggle room with those unless you're just doing your own thing and being like a TikToker and just dumping drills, you know, taking all the plastic off and just dumping the drills on and then using your hand. You know, if you're doing that, it doesn't matter what kind you get. But circle ones are the easiest one to start with. And I guess I should say I've completed about 12 diamond paintings. So this is the level of experience I have, if this matters to you. But anyway, the tweezers are very, very useful though if you're working with square drills, because those can be very hard to, if you have to pick one back up off of the canvas, you almost need tweezers because there's just such limited space. So that's one thing. Another thing is to help you, like if I were going to do number 5 next and I cut like down this line, I could use my tweezers to kind of fold this back and expose this part. That's probably what I use them for the most, but also they're really good if you accidentally spill your drills or you've got one in the wrong spot. It's useful to move them around. So tweezers, it's not, I didn't think to put these items like in these top 10 in a numerical order of how I would do things. You can definitely do diamond painting without tweezers. I just find that it's good to have a very simple set of tweezers. So that's the first item, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stop every time. I'll just stop, but I'm gonna stop. All right, next. Now this probably is one of the top 3 important things in diamond painting, and that's pens and tips. So so I'm going to set these down for a minute. Everybody knows that the basic kit comes with this, and I used this for probably the first couple of weeks that I was diamond painting. It's got a simple brass kind of tip, doesn't come with any extra placers on it, just very simple, and you can very easily do anything, all of your diamond painting with one of these. But you'll quickly find, or at least I think you will, that holding this is really not all that pleasant. And even if you've got one of the, let me see if I've got one in here. Yes. I put all of all the supplies I wanted to show in this plastic bag. So in between when I'm pausing, I'm grabbing all those things. So even if you put one of these on here, that helps a little bit, but it's still not, what's the word, like ergonomically helpful to your hand and your wrist, and you get very tired very quickly. So all of these products, I should say, have a high-end version of them, and most of those high-end versions you can find in Etsy shops. So with your pens, you can get custom-made pens out of wood, resin, all kinds of materials, and there are some beautiful ones on Etsy for that. I did not go that route, surprisingly, because I couldn't get a version of it to try out for cheap. And I know with Etsy users or sellers, you can return things that you don't like, but I really don't want to do that to an Etsy seller. So I decided I was going to go the resin route. And so the first style that I kind of fell in love with was this style. And of course, that meant I had to get it in every color. And I did not bring all of them down here, but you can see I did get every color that they have, even if I don't have it down here, although it kind of looks like I do have all of them down here. So with these resin pens, these are, in my opinion, one step up from this, and these work with this exact same tips. So they're the push-in kind, and they've got, you can push in a tip on both sides. So normally, not normally, always, well, there's one example, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I always have a single placer on this side and then a multi-placer on this side. And so this was okay. It's got some curvature here that my finger could fit in, and so that was okay. But then I kind of fell out of love with the tips that you push in. And so I guess I should talk a little bit about the tips at the same time, since it's all related. So if you get a kit that comes with multi-placers, you'll know they're these plastic ones. And these are okay, but I don't like the plastic ones. And there's some that are clear, which are a little bit harder of a plastic. I think these are usually the 6 placer that comes in the clear for some reason. But then usually you'll also get a 9 and a 3 in your, you know, if you happen to get one that's got more than just the single placer. Well, I decided I really didn't like, for one, the plastic ones. So I migrated, and let me put that down. I migrated to where I was getting the metal ones, and that was better. But I guess I should show one on here. So the metal ones I liked better. But then I also started having problems where when I was working, they would twist and they weren't staying put. And that was more so, it wasn't really a problem with the single placer, but it was more of a problem with the multi-placer that I would have on the other end. So when I was pushing it down, it would kind of twist a little bit. And I did not like that. So then I started looking, and that's when I found the ones that screw in. So in my opinion, these are the best placers. They screw in, which means they don't work with this particular style that just has the push in. They won't work with that. You have to get the kind that has the screw hole in it on both sides. And those all seem to be this kind of shape. Now, the other advantage this has is I much prefer this particular shape for holding, because the way I hold a pen or pencil, my knuckle fits right into this groove, and it's perfect for me. Now, if you're someone who holds your pens or pencils like this may not be right for you, and this may be easier. So you got to keep that in mind too, because everybody holds their pencils differently. But for me, I recommend the screw tips because they do not shift while you're using them. And it just so happens for me that it's also in the resin shape that I like the best. So I've got several of those. And you can see I've got, oh no, that's not. I have some of these metal tips in rose gold and some in silver, because I've obviously bought several sets. Now, that being said, before I do the price, because the set that I have in my link tree is these, and I think it's a 14-piece set, so it comes with a pen and then so many of these placers. I can't remember if it comes with something else, so I'll have to look at the picture of it here in a second. The other style that you might see, which this one's super pretty, and Temu sells these two. So this is a much bigger pen. So if you need something that's bigger, you might like this. And these are, in my opinion, prettier because they've got cool things inside. So I've got another one that's kind of, you know, sparkly, and looks like that's all that I brought in for this kind. And then you'll see, we're going to talk about rollers later, so let me not talk about that. But these are the push-in kind. But I found, and I don't know if you can see it, it's cracked here. And this one, I think, yeah, I've cracked a piece off of this one too. So for some reason, this particular style is very weak around the edges. So just something to keep in mind. But I kind of like these big ones for the straightener edge. And so I used to have a big one like this with a straightener on both ends, and that's all I used it for, was straightening. And so I don't know why I don't know why I like that better, because the screw tip set also comes with a straightener. But I think I was probably trying to use the other parts that I had without letting them go to waste. So with all that being said, this is my ideal scenario. I will say that, I know I had one here. I cannot figure out how to use this tip very well. This tip, it definitely makes you hold it differently. So I know I've got it on here, but that's just for show, but I don't ever use this. Okay, so let's talk price for these. I forgot to write that down, so I'm just gonna go to my link tree, and I'm gonna go to the set to tell you. Okay, so it comes with a pen, and then it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 placers. So it's got, or maybe seven placers, because it's showing one of them twice. So it's got the single placer, and then it's got that bent one, and then it's got a 3, 6, and a 9, and a straightener. And I will say that I always use the 6. I don't like the 9. It's too much. There's always one or two that either stay stuck to it when I'm trying to place them down, or I'm not very good at being straight. So then if I've got 9, it kind of gets crooked. And 3, the 3 placer, well, if I'm going to do 3, I'll just only pick up 3 with my 6 placer, because you can pick up less with what you've got. But the 6 just seems like a good size for what I do. And then the set also comes with 6 wax blocks like this, which we're going to talk about this stuff in another segment. So on Amazon, that set is, okay, well, it depends on what color pen you get, but this particular color, blue, is $12.99 for that set. And then on Temu, they have the exact same set. It's $11.47 right now. So a little bit cheaper again on Temu, but you gotta wait longer for it. All right, so I don't think there's anything else I need to say about pens and placers, just that I prefer metal, ones that screw, and that determines what my shape is. All right, so next up we are going to have putty. Okay, so this segment is going to be wax and putty, but I will say I keep all of my tips just in a little container like this. There's no way I'm going to ever need these, so these really become, if any of my kids want to do some, they can pull some out of here. But these appear to all be the screw type ones. I've got all of the push-in ones and something else. Okay, so wax, putty. I've watched several YouTube videos on what's the best thing to use. We all know that the traditional set comes with a wax plate. I think a lot of people call it, that looks like this. It's usually red. This one is much darker than this one, and you'll hear people say the darker it is or the more opaque it is, the better it is. I have not found that to be true. I've found that whether it's pretty see-through or not, all of these work very similarly, and they come in different colors. I have some blue ones, but you don't need to see that there's also blue. But anyway, they come like this. Sometimes they come in circles, like this one was a circle at one point in time, and there's no real difference of whether or not it's a circle when you get it or not. But this is a little set that Temu has, which I'll talk about the containers in a minute. So anyway, wax is the standard option that comes with a kit. I hate this stuff. This stuff, you have to fill it, and it depresses into your tool very easily, and so then you have to keep adding more, and it sometimes leaves residue on the drills. So I do not like these, and I really wanted to like these because some of these are pretty and nice to have or whatever. So I've got a ton of these, and I've got a ton more upstairs because we know I have like 110 diamond painting kits, so I had at least that many of these. I gave away most of the extra pens and boats because I was like, well, I'm not going to need all those. Of course, now I kind of wish I hadn't put them in the giveaway pile, because if I ever want to sell them to just get, declutter, I'm going to have to bunch them with the few of these that I have left. But anyway, so what are the other options for sticking things? Well, glue dots. So you can get these. This happens to be left over from a Paper Pumpkin subscription box, but you can get rolls of glue dots from Amazon or wherever. Glue dots, most people only, when they're using, sorry, I thought I left out one of these. Most people, when they're using glue dots, will only use it in a single placer. They're not very good to use in a multi-placer, but it takes several, depending on the size of the glue dot, it could take several glue dots to fill the tip of one of these, and that's another place that the tweezers will come in handy. So I've tried that, and I've tried that repeatedly, and yes, it does work, but these end up being super sticky, and so a lot of times your pen is then stickier than your mat. And when that happens, then it's hard to get the drill to stay down because it keeps wanting to come up with your pen. And the way to combat that is to take your pen and kind of rub it on your pants or some kind of fabric to make it less sticky. But then what's the point? Because the whole point is you want it sticky. So then it's just kind of not very sticky. So then you kind of have to pull it back out and flip it over. So that's just was a no-go. A lot of people will swear by that method though, but I am not. I will use a multi-placer whenever I can. So I don't want to be just sticking down unless I'm in a confetti area, which if you're not sure what that means, it's a small area that has lots of different colors and very few like colors together to where you have to use a single placer. But that was not for me. Then there's also the beeswax method, and this is really hard stuff, at least this particular version of this. And so you kind of have to scrape it into your tool, and this didn't feel like it was hardly sticky at all. So this to me was worse than the wax that comes with the set. So then okay, well, let's go to this one first. So this is poster tack. You can get this at the Dollar Tree. It's, I think, almost always blue. And if you remember from your school days, you'd pull a piece of this off, kind of work it in your hands to get it a little soft, and then you could spread it on the back of your poster and hang it up to the wall. So that's what this is. So you really have to, this works well. So this would be my second choice, okay? That's because it's so cheap and easy to get. You can just go to the Dollar Tree or whatever and pick it up. And you get a pretty big size for the $1.25. But this one you have to really work. So you have to pull some off, work it up till you get it to where it's pliable, and then you kind of stick it into your pen tips, and it works good on both sides, but it's a little bit more work, and it is just harder than my first choice. But it is definitely my second choice. A little bit similar to that is this special putty that I found on Amazon, and it came in, it's like scented putty. That was kind of its claim to fame. I didn't see any unique value out of this compared to this. And these little cases, by the way, they came with placers in them. That's why I have so many. So I recycled. So anyway, if you were to search for putty on Amazon, this would probably come up. It was a set of four different colors, 4 different scents. One was like, there's a yellow one that's banana. This is, I think, lavender. I don't remember what this one was. But for the money, this was not worth it. So then my favorite option is this Quake Hold. So this is a museum putty that comes wrapped up, and you can see it's softer to start out. It's not as hard as the poster tack. And this, you would just take your pen and you would push it down and kind of scrape, and then you would just fill it in. It doesn't lose its stickiness when you touch it like the glue dots would, and you get enough in, and you'll probably get a little bit more, so it would be a little bit convex, or mounded a little bit, because as soon as you start pressing into the drills, it's going to pack it in there, and so you might have to add a little bit more. The other thing with the poster tack and the putty is that as you're using it, it does get a little bit warmer, and so sometimes your excess will squish out. Like this one's got the green one in it at the moment, but sometimes, and you can see where the drills were kind of, but sometimes all of this, as it gets warm, it kind of comes out. So you just take your finger and you put it back in, and you can do, if you use this, you can do, well, I've only done 4 sections on this, and I probably only had to load up once for that amount. You could probably do up to 6 or more of these size boxes on one load, and then it's like I change it out just to have something fresh, not because I necessarily need it. So this is my number one pick, and it's only available on Amazon. It's $4.25. Amazon has poster tack, but I've never tried theirs, so I'm not recommending it, especially when you can go and get this one for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, which is definitely, if you don't want to spend the $4.25, this is your best bet. So let's talk about containers. So I repurposed these from Placer. They were Placer containers, but they're like, Temu also has containers like this. Well, this one's taped, that you can, it's the perfect size for wax if you decide to keep with the wax route. Temu also has these little pots that you can get. So if you have your round ones, or you can bend a square one into that. The storage system that I'm going to show later comes with these macaroons, and you can just, the thing with the putty is you usually want to try to, as you're getting it warm and malleable, then you kind of want to roll it out so that you can make it thin when you put it into something like this. But this helps, I mean, it's hard as a rock right now, but this does help keep some of the air out so it won't get too dry. So I like these, and then I like these. These are the Temu version, and it does, they do sell them with these already in them. I didn't link to any of the containers, so if you decide you're interested in a link for, well, this comes with a set, but if you're interested in the link for this, I can add it to my link tree. Just let me know. But I didn't, because if you get this, you can just keep it wrapped in the paper it comes in, and in this, and you don't need anything else. All right, so I think that was it for this. So the thing that I was gonna, the other non-diamond painting thing I was going to talk about was several of us YouTubers have haters. Well, everybody's got haters, right? But we've got some viewers who are very vocal and not always kind in their comments, and some of us have been trying to think, what do we call those people? You know, we don't want to call them Karens, because there's poor Karens out there that are as nice as can be and don't want to be associated with that. And then I think, hey, everybody maybe started using Patty or something like that for a while, but then she had some viewers that had that, whatever name it was she used, so she decided, well, I can't use that. So ever since then, I've been like thinking about, what could I call these people? Not that I talk about them really very often. I try not to, because I want to stay positive, but it's still kind of funny, some of the things that people will say in the comments. I don't know if they intend to be mean-spirited, or if it's just how I read it. I don't know. I have one of these people that counts how many times I say certain words in a certain period of time, and so it's frustrating, right? Because then you're kind of super aware of these traits that everybody's got, annoying traits, right? So when somebody points it out, then it's like, oh, how am I going to get past this? So I've been trying to think of what I would call these people, and you don't want it to be a common everyday name. So then I was trying to think of favorite movies and shows and stuff that I watch that have kind of people like that on there. And so I was thinking of Pride and Prejudice, and I was like, well, I could always call this person Lady Catherine de Bourgh, because she's kind of snooty and opinionated, and I could just always say, well, Lady Catherine this or Lady Catherine that. And then I was like, well, I don't want people to think I'm talking about Kate Middleton, you know, ha. But I still think that's my favorite name or whatever. But then I was also thinking Cruella de Vil, because sometimes these comments feel cruel, you know, at the time. If we're kind of I feel like I'm pretty self-aware, but when you have people point out your faults, it still, dings a little bit, right? And it's so hard to decide to even present yourself in front of however many people are going to watch this, that you don't want to be constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I'm saying that word too often, or I'm using my hands too much, or I spend too much time talking about one product. These are the kind of things that Lady Catherine says to me in my comments, right? Now, thankfully, that's only about 0.1% of the comments are like that, and I can usually get over it by the next day or so, because the overwhelming majority of you are always so kind and considerate, and some of you, even when you see those comments, you write back and you're like, who's making you watch this? Why are you watching this if you think it's terrible? And so I appreciate that. But yeah, so that was my little soapbox or whatever. So Lady Catherine Berg, she represents several people, right? But she ends up being that little voice of negativity that you don't want to share. You don't want that in your life. So we want Lady Catherine to be gone. I mean, not gone, but to be polite. And she's from a time period in Pride and Prejudice where people were overly polite, to the point of you could tell they were slamming other people by their politeness. Where is that? So let's bring that back. Okay, now I've gone on way too long, so now let me get prepared for my next segment. So I have been piecing together the parts of this, and I've only gotten through 3 sections, and I'm already at 45 minutes. So I am going to cut this one short, and we will have a part 2 and possibly a part 3, depending on how long I talk, since I drone on. Yes, Lady Catherine, I drone on. So anyway, we will be back. Watch out for the part 2. Hopefully all of these, however many parts there are, will air all tomorrow at some point. Thanks. Bye.